Intelligence Studio. Do subscribe and like the video.
China is a country that's been in the news a lot lately. It's capturing global attention with its rapid advancements and strategic moves, and for good reason. They're making big moves on the world stage, influencing global politics and economics. They're building cities at a rate that would make your head spin, transforming rural areas into urban hubs almost overnight. They're investing in technology like it's going out of fashion, pouring billions into research and development. All this has led some people to believe that China is winning the race for global technological dominance, outpacing even the most advanced nations. But is that really true? Is China truly ahead in every aspect of technology? Sure, China has made incredible progress, evolving from a manufacturing hub to a tech innovator. They've gone from a country known for cheap knockoffs to a leader in innovation, producing cutting-edge gadgets and software. They've got more supercomputers than any other country, pushing the boundaries of computational power. They're leading the way in artificial intelligence, developing AI that rivals the best in the world. But there are still some areas where China is playing catch-up, facing challenges that slow their progress. In this essay, we'll take a look at some of the surprising tech gaps that still exist in China, despite their advancements. We'll examine the challenges they face and the opportunities they have, exploring the complexities of their tech landscape. Fasten your seatbelts, because we're about to go on a wild ride through the world of Chinese technology, uncovering the truth behind the headlines. Now, before we go any further, let's get one thing straight. China is not technologically backward. I'm not saying China is technologically backward, far from it. They've made some incredible strides in a very short amount of time, but even with all their progress, there are still some areas where they're lagging behind. Think of it like this. Imagine you're at a car show. You see a shiny, new Chinese electric car. It looks fantastic. It's got all the latest gadgets. You get in, and it's surprisingly spacious. But then you notice something. The engine is a bit rough around the edges. The handling isn't quite as sharp as you'd like. These are the kinds of gaps we're talking about. So, what are these mysterious tech gaps? Well, they're in areas like space exploration, electric vehicles, and even internet infrastructure. Surprised? You should be. These are all areas where China is making a big push. But as we'll see, there's still a long way to go. Despite the impressive advancements, the journey is far from over. The gaps may be narrowing, but they are still significant enough to warrant attention. So let's dive deeper into these surprising tech gaps and understand what it means for the future of technology in China. Let's start with the topic of space exploration. Everyone knows that the Americans were the first to put a man on the moon. Neil Armstrong, what a legend. But in recent years, China has been making up for lost time. They've launched their own space station, sent probes to the moon and Mars, and even landed a rover on the dark side of the moon. Impressive stuff, no doubt. But here's the thing. When it comes to space exploration, there's one company that's miles ahead of everyone else. And that's Elon Musk's SpaceX. Love him or hate him, you've got to admit, the man knows how to build a rocket. SpaceX is launching rockets and deploying satellites at an unprecedented rate. They're even talking about colonizing Mars. Now, I'm not saying China's space program is a joke. It's not. But they're still playing catch-up to SpaceX. It's like comparing a Ford Fiesta to a Bugatti Chiron. They're both cars, but they're in different leagues. Let's talk about electric vehicles next. China is the world's largest EV market. They produce and sell more electric cars than any other country. They've even got their own homegrown EV giants like BYD and NIO. You'd think they'd be leading the pack, right? Well, not so fast. While China might be producing a lot of EVs, they're not necessarily the best. See, many Chinese EV makers have focused on building affordable mass-market cars, which is great for getting people into electric cars. But it means they've lagged behind in terms of technology and performance. Companies like Tesla and Porsche are still making the most desirable and technologically advanced EVs. They're the ones pushing the boundaries of battery range, autonomous driving and performance. And that's where China needs to up its game. They need to move beyond just making affordable EVs and start producing cars that can compete with the best in the world. Welcome to Section 5, where we explore staying connected through the internet and beyond. Now let's talk about the internet and its vast impact on our daily lives. China has the world's largest online population, with millions of users logging in every day. They've got their own versions of Google, Amazon and Facebook tailored to their unique market needs. They're even rolling out 5G faster than anyone else, aiming to lead the world in next-gen connectivity. So they must be winning the internet game, right? It seems like they have all the pieces in place. Well, it's not that simple. There are layers to this story. While China has made great strides in internet infrastructure, there are still some significant challenges that need addressing. One of the biggest is censorship, which affects millions of users. China's internet is heavily censored, with the government blocking access to many foreign websites and apps, limiting what people can see and do online. This Great Firewall, as it's called, stifles innovation and limits access to information, creating a controlled digital environment. And then there's the issue of satellite internet, which is becoming increasingly important. SpaceX is busy launching thousands of Starlink satellites, beaming internet access to even the most remote corners of the Earth, revolutionizing connectivity. China, on the other hand, is lagging behind in this area, struggling to keep up with the rapid advancements. Although companies like Geely, yes, the car company, are starting to get in on the act, they've got a lot of catching up to do in the satellite internet race. Section 6. The military-industrial complex is a double-edged sword. One area where China has a unique advantage or disadvantage, depending on how you look at it, is the close relationship between the military and the tech industry. In China, the lines between the military and private companies are often blurred. This can be a good thing, as it allows for rapid development of certain technologies. However, it can also be a hindrance. The involvement of the military can make it difficult for Chinese tech companies to gain a foothold in international markets. Many countries are wary of using technology that might have military applications or could be used for espionage. This is a hurdle that Chinese companies will need to overcome if they want to truly become global tech leaders. Section 7. The guiding hand. Government support and its limits. One thing China has in abundance is government support. The Chinese government has poured billions of dollars into supporting the development of key technologies. They've set ambitious targets for things like artificial intelligence, electric vehicles, and semiconductor manufacturing. And they're not afraid to use their vast resources to help their companies succeed. But government support can be a double-edged sword. While it can jumpstart innovation, it can also stifle competition and lead to inefficiency. If companies become too reliant on government handouts, they may not be as motivated to innovate or compete in the global marketplace. China will need to find the right balance between government support and free market competition if they want to create a truly innovative tech sector. Section 8. The future of technology. Is it a two-horse race? So where does all of this leave us in the global tech landscape? It's clear that China is a major player in the global tech scene. They've made remarkable progress in a short amount of time, but they're still playing catch-up in several key areas. The future of technology is looking more and more like a two-horse race between China and the United States. Both countries have their strengths and weaknesses. The US still has a significant lead in areas like semiconductor design, software development and aerospace. But China is catching up fast, with its vast manufacturing capacity, rapidly growing domestic market and strong government backing. Section 9. Implications for the world. Is there a new tech order? The rise of China as a tech superpower has major implications for the world. It could lead to a more bipolar world order, with the US and China vying for influence. It could also lead to a fragmentation of the internet, with different countries using different technologies and standards. One thing is for sure, the technological landscape is changing rapidly, and China is playing a major role in shaping that change. It's an exciting and uncertain time to be alive, and the next few decades will be crucial in determining the future of technology and the balance of power in the world. Section 10. The final lap. What is next in the Tech Grand Prix? So there you have it. A whirlwind tour of China's tech scene and the surprising gaps that still exist. It's a complex and ever-changing landscape. But one thing is clear. China is a force to be reckoned with. They're ambitious, they're determined, and they're not afraid to play the long game. The race for technological dominance is far from over. In fact, it's just getting started. And China is definitely one to watch. They might not be leading the pack in every area just yet, but they're gaining ground fast, and they just might surprise us all.
And do subscribe to the channel.